Well, I don't know how to recover from what Eric just did right before we went live, but welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready for the
It's a weird meme.
Look, dude.
We have a weird meta.
If anyone hits on your mom, just immediately call her up and point the phone to them and say, like, do it.
It wasn't me.
It was Josh. I'm gonna freaking fully expose him.
It's a weird meme. I think the only reason why it's funny to me is because it makes other people more uncomfortable than it makes me. But like, wow, I've never been that uncomfortable.
I could imagine why that would be the case, Josh. But either way, that was a game one of all time in that last, just a few moments ago. I will say, it was a little back and forth. It was entertaining to say the least. But Josh, I'm going to put you on the spot. Did this live up to the expectation of gameplay that we were expecting from either of these teams? Because it felt a little like just kind of like passing a lead back and forward.
It was a little bit sloppy from both sides, but I'm more willing to forgive Team Fish Taco for that than Cincinnati Fear, right? Cincinnati Fear was a team that was very controlled coming into spring, whereas we don't have the same kind of expectations surrounding Team Fish Taco just quite yet. And because of that, and also because they won at the end of it, we can give a lot of credit, especially to some of the players that showed growth from even their games yesterday.
I mean, we could be hyped up on Lunasi and Perry like we've always been, but ONAT is a fresh face, still fresh in the scene, and to be making plays like that, I think it's a bright future for ONAT.
Incredible flanked at the very end to close it out. Even Rosethorn had a really cool flank. Josh, he was right after you criticized him.
I know. It was perfect.
When's he gonna go for the flank? Boom.
And then he did. Boom. Thank you, baby.
So it was those big moments that did eventually happen. Just took a little while for TFT to come online and actually find it. Didn't come down to a soul fight, though, or rather soul take. It was just the setup around the objective, and then one big teleport from ONAT to close things out. So great from TFT. That is game one in the books. Fear had to pick up a win still. Surprising. Right now. Yeah. Deserex, are we hitting the panic button?
We're not hitting the panic button because it's part of the Shochi anime. You got to have that arc where you slump through before you overcome it all, and that's when it feels the best, Steve.
Okay, I like that. Let's build it up a little bit more. All right, so we're not hitting the panic button yet. They do still have an opportunity to end with a win here today. But going 0-4 would be really rough, so they're in the pressure seat while the players get ready for pick and ban to reset the mental and get ready for that game number 2. We're going to have a little bit of fun with our Rally Cry halftime show. We're playing a brand new one. New split, new sub incentive on the channel, and new game shows along with it. If you haven't seen it already, we got some really cool emotes that you can grab. Make sure that you are subscribed if you have any free primes available, or if you just want to help us out, help out the players.
That's us.
Make sure to sub to twitch.tv LCS Challengers League. That's this one. You can get these ones on the Path to LCS channel. I just wanted to show them off because it's the three of us on broadcast. Woo! Josh, you have your glasses. Can you recreate it?
They are arriving in the mail tomorrow.
What finger are you holding up? Oh my. Okay. That's the right finger. Hold on. Me and Deserex as well. Smackdown, baby. Oh, he's got it. Nice.
Let's do ours.
So to commemorate the incredible emotes that we had commissioned, we're gonna play a little bit of a game. Okay.
Take your shirt off.
We're just doing all of it. Wait, which side? This side. There we go.
Eric, you're wearing too much shirt.
Well, yeah, we locked that content behind the Patreon, Joshi. So eventually we'll get that rolling as well. What we're gonna do here, I actually have screen captures of a couple of key moments from the game. This is my high production value. Kangas Productions, everybody. And we're going to watch through the replay.
All right, is it supposed to be on 2x speed?
On 2x speed. You're going to tell me which emote should be spammed for the player. So I'm going to give you the replay. I'm going to give you the player to focus on, and then you tell me out of the list of available emotes which one we're spamming for this player, okay?
Okay.
Up first, we have Manui. So we're going to watch the replay. Let me know what you want to see spammed in the chat for this replay.
I already know mine.
You already know yours. Give it to me, baby.
Path to 5 Pog.
Path to... Wait, what?
That's
Path to 5 Pog.
Those aren't allowed.
Those are the Path to LCS ones. I said the Challengers League ones.
Oh, my God.
He's already emptying us, Joshi. All right, Joshi, you give me one.
Oh, my. I feel like this has to be mic drop.
Mic drop?
Yeah.
They go for the dive. They can't get Manui. Oh,
can't get him. See ya, baby.
Mic drop. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. I like that. Deserex, that's how you do it. Come on. Do you have a different one?
No, I wanted Mazel Pog to be there. How are you going to play me like that? Just give me, I don't know, NACL 1 Giga Chat.
How about this? How about we just get this one again? Haha.
I just said Giga Chad.
Oh, true. Giga Chad. All right. You know what? So we're looking at the mic drop. We're looking at the Giga Chad. These are the two emotes that we're spamming for Manui. Surviving the gank. Philip comes in as a hero. Maybe Philip's the Giga Chad, and Manui's the mic drop because he's like, yeah, you went for the dive. You didn't catch it. Philip's too Giga Chad, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Yeah, that's good continuity coming.
All right. I like it. Let's take a look at the next one. This one, we're taking a look at Philip and his incredible TP play. Now, while this is happening, what emote are we spamming, baby?
Ooh. It's a tough one. Okay. Yeah. What do you got?
I kind of like the wave.
That's what I was thinking.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, no.
See, I thought of it less of like a goodbye, like, hello.
Maybe
Hi.
a little bit of this. Maybe a little bit of this. You know, we can sprinkle some salt on there, too. And this is definitely what they're feeling in here. Just the sad. Oh, man. That's a bummer. All right.
Yeah. NACL
got anything else you want to add?
No, I was on the wave as well. I was...
Lol?
Perfect.
Actually, I shouldn't be. I want the Rakan one instead. NACL one cheer. I forget it's a Zeri, and that's my mortal enemy.
Woo! Yeah.
Woo!
All right, there we go. Cool. Let's take a look at the next one now.
All right.
This one, we're going to follow Rose Thorn. He did it, Joshi.
He did it.
He finally made the play. The incredible flank to start things off for them at the bear at a pivotal moment. So what are we spamming for Rose Thorn?
See, I feel like if he's listening, like that's got to be the heart, right? Like, you know, but it's a very ironic heart, you know? It's like, thank you, Joshi. You set me up perfectly.
Make these a little smaller. Yeah. Boom.
Boom. Right? It's kind of like, but this is less for the other players and literally more for exactly me. It's like, thank you, I made you look like a fool.
Okay, so this is Josh watching the play from up here. Deserx, what about for Rose Thorn himself?
NACL 1 hype.
We got the hype. Where's the
Yeah.
hype? I gotta find it. I know I
Yeah.
got that one. Oh yeah. Woo! The
Yeah,
hype play from Rose Thorn finding the flank and getting in there.
Well, not that. Just Josh being proved wrong. That was it.
All right, so this is also you kind of standing up here, maybe behind Josh. All right, I like it. We're building up a whole lore here. Sweet. Rose Thorn did find the flank though. Like I said, pivotal moment. Now this next one, we're gonna follow Philip.
Also, hold on. Because I have Twitch chat open for exactly this, at 10 CS per minute. Yeah, this is real production. This is what you come for. This is the Tier 2 broadcast. The Challengers League.
Production, baby.
This is Kangas production.
Right. I got my one ready this time.
All right, sorry. What was the play? I wasn't looking. Oh,
We're
Philip just sitting there?
Phillip. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, this was easy.
NACL 1 stare.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
a
that's
blink,
the easy
It's a
answer.
blink
Come
angle,
on.
man. It's a blink angle.
We just put this over him. There we go.
You need to animate this to actually blink.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there. Stare. All right, cool.
Stare.
That was just a funny one, but let's take a look at the real one. Onat on the TP. Oh, no. Wait, it's not playing.
It's not playing.
Let's give it the old refresh. This is that true production value, everybody. See, this is why we left the stare up. Okay, here it is. Click the unmute. I don't need the unmute. Okay, we're good. 2 times speed. Professional broadcast, baby. All right, what are you spamming in this one?
NACL 1 ace.
This is Onat's teleport player distracted by the memes.
NACL 1 ace. Let's get it up on the screen.
Oh, no. Not like this. Wait a minute.
Do you not have
I
it?
don't think I have that one.
Not like this.
NACL 1 backdoor.
All right, you know
Onat
what?
kinda
We're
came
going to
through it.
throw it on real quick because it doesn't take that long to add it in. And boom! We got it. The NACL ace. Coming in for Onat on the incredible flank. Well, there we have it. That's it for emote spam, everybody. Make sure if you want to join in on the emote spam, subscribe to the channel if you have any free primes available. We would love those. Or if you just want to help out with your own hard-earned cash, the players would greatly appreciate it. Spam those emotes. These ones are the past LCS ones. We had all the ones there from Challengers League, but that's enough from us for the Rally Cry Halftime Show because the players are ready for pick and ban. So for the final time today, I'm going to pass it on over to Deserix and Joshi.
How does it feel to lose another game, Josh?
What?
How does it feel? You picked
that
the
was a
wrong
game?
emotes, man. You picked
What?
the wrong emotes. You heard the buzzer,
gosh.
right? You heard the correct buzzer coming out from Kangas on my end? I
I'm
only
gonna
heard it 'cause I
stab
was
you in the
winning.
feet, Eric.
Yeah, that's the only place he could stab me, man.
Good. You go to step. Get out of here.
On to our final game of the day before we absolutely lose our minds. You can tell it's been a little bit of a long day.
It's been a good day. We've had
It's
some
been a
fun
good
games.
one. Been a long but a good one, to say the least. First ban's coming out. Are we expected to see any bit of a pivot coming out here? I definitely want to see a little bit more gusto coming out of Cincinnati Fear.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel as though the play coming through from Minui and Shochi really set Cincinnati Fear into a tough spot, right? Because both Minui and Shochi were looking to be really aggressive towards that early play in the bottom side river, and they were the ones that ended up putting themselves in really awkward positions, right? It was them trying to be too aggressive.
Especially that one face check where Minui just kind of walked into the arms of Team Fish Taco. Didn't do any favors for Cincinnati Fear right there. You do have to be aware of where the team can be at any given moment. The ban comes in, giving my fandom over to Team Fish Taco because they banned
You already
me,
had
so.
it.
Go again. Here's the hat. See that? They got merch, man. They got merch. It's amazing.
I think the last time I saw you wearing that hat was when Grape signed your head.
Actually, yeah. Unfortunately, I like sweated off the signature.
Oh, it definitely hasn't been you showering because we know gamers don't do that. But as we start getting into this one, we do have
it's my
Team Fish
musk.
Taco.
It's my stank, man.
Ooh.
Preserve it.
All right, well, we will have to see a little bit more about that as NACL does lock in the Cassante blind coming here up against Philip. Now, and I think this is actually kind of risky because one of the big things that has been preventing the character Nar, this side? Yeah, this side. This character from coming out into the game has been the fact that it has been significantly suppressed by having Olaf consistently in the game. And Philip has been a big Nar player over the past year and a half, as has most other, semi-professional top laners when they have the ability to play specifically into Cassante.
I do want to give a shout out to Philip since we are on that subject. Even though Cincinnati Fear lost, I thought Philip still looked pretty good in a lot of those mid-game fights. A lot better than what we had seen in the past of Philip. I definitely want to see this iteration of Philip develop more and more as we go through, so we can finally break that ceiling through for that top laner. Now Cincinnati Fear going to go back to the Aphelios.
Yeah, I mean, this is also Perry picking up the Wukong. Rosethorn did have a couple of big flanks on that character this time around, and it was one of Perry's most successful characters as well during spring, right? A ton of plays on this champion, and as we start bringing it into the game yet again, it does look as though Perry will be very aggressive with the play, as Vi was oftentimes the counter pick, but was also the character that spawned my criticisms of Rosethorn's ability to flank because of how much that they were focused on just going directly up the middle.
I hope Rosethorn can get some pretty nasty flanks onto this, because Vi is very good at getting picks if anyone is out of position. And just to prove you wrong once again, Josh,
True. I mean, if he does the right thing, it'll be great.
This whole day has just been to try and, deck on you, but you're just not taking the bait, Josh. You make this hard for me. Final pick going to come out.
If you're going to get the digs, you just got to go directly for them, Get that shovel, start digging.
And they're not going to be here next split. It's all right. It's all right. As Jinx will be that final lock-in for Team Fish Taco, and Shochi going to take the Annie this time.
It is going to be, like you said, the Annie going over to Shochi, so Onat will not have access to it. And we have seen that this character can be really aggressive and be very strong into most of the things that you will be seeing here in the mid lane. But Onat, as a relatively new player, has less standard champion pool than a lot of the other players that have been in the tier 2 ecosystem for a little while. And Shochi going to try and prey on that by grabbing this, relying on the fact that he should be able to get priority with this champion, and then roam around to help Perry out a lot. They got so many wins off this combination in spring.
Well, I haven't been the most impressed, I guess, in the overall play of Shochi when it comes to laning and stuff. I have always been impressed by Shochi's ability to find picks, and he's a good champion for that. I complimented the Syndra earlier, as that gets banned away from Team Fish Taco, but Shochi should be able to have some more presence here onto this Annie. If you can get the Jinx before getting excited, could be a big plus right there, but already a good answer coming out from Cincinnati Fear.
So I'm kind of curious then how Team Fish Taco will get that little bit of extra burst, because they're close to being able to burst out one of the, I won't say true frontliners, but semi-frontliners, something like a Wukong. They just need a little bit more damage to put onto that one target in order to burst them out at the beginning of the fight and get Spawn to start resetting. Now, we also saw that Spawn yesterday, while they were playing the Jinx, whenever they would get the reset, they had a couple of times where they went a little bit too far forward and ended up getting punished really, really heavily by running into players like Robbie Bob, when he would just blow them up with just raw AP. This time around, on the other hand, it is going to be a spot where Fear have a lot of characters that are going to be really difficult to just attack at the beginning of the fights, because Perry will go invisible, and Philip is immune.
And a lot of good splash damage coming out from Cincinnati Fear. I mean, Shochi, Moonlight Vigil, all of that, that's fine. But Gwen is one of the masters of really just spreading out that damage if you do bunch together into those team fights. But speaking of team fights, the response out of Team Fish Taco, Onat is going to grab the Orianna. Again, Onat was one of the big decision makers for Team Fish Taco when they did take fights, and Orianna placed that with the Shockwave.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be that little bit of extra burst that you need. It doesn't start off that way, right? Level 6, Orianna, the Shockwave is mostly a displacement, doesn't do a ton of damage, but by the time you hit level 11 and level 16, you're doing absolute truckloads of damage with that. But now we are going to be seeing Philip is going to be going over towards the Gwen like we were talking about earlier. This is going to be very tough for Team Fish Taco to try and burst out, and it's also going to be a bit of an issue for Lunacia to play against in the side lane, right? Even though Lunacia did get the solo kill onto Philip, it definitely felt as though Philip had enough pressure to move around the map relatively freely last game, and this is definitely a game where Philip can build his own lead and use it to just run this entire map.
And a much better situation because Philip is not dealing with the Olaf like it was before, where Lunacia did have those angles to come in against Cincinnati Fear. Now we have a more complete picture. I do like this draft coming out of Cincinnati Fear as a response, especially the Annie takeaway. I feel like that was one of the biggest things that they did grab from this. Also excited to see JJ back on that Thresh.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a classic pick for JJ and a classic matchup for Aphelios as well. You just pair these two champions together, provides so much safety for Manui. The one question, though, is there are a lot of tools for Team Fish Taco to try and get on top of Manui, right? Rosethorn, Lunacia, and NXI all have the reach in order to try and get to this champion, and the extra distance that JJ will be providing for his AD carry is going to be pivotal in a lot of these upcoming team fights. And so, as we already talked about, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to how Onat's Shockwaves in particular are set up during these fights, because if he can hit them onto Shochi, if he can hit them onto Manui, they're potentially game-winning.
And great ball delivery systems. Rosethorn on the Vi, NXI on the Rakan. Final game of the day. Team Fish Taco taking on Cincinnati Fear. Cincinnati Fear winless so far in week number 1 of the summer split. Team Fish Taco having pretty much a great start to go 2-1. Sure to type in chat who you think will win. Type in Fear if you want Cincinnati Fear. Type in Taco, you want Team Fish Taco.
Thinking about it a little bit more, Eric, I am pretty sure that if Philip was like Zeus, this Gwen just automatically wins the game, you know? Like, it's already got a good lane matchup. It has great opportunities to split in this game, going up against the Cassante, and it is so difficult for Spawn and Onat to walk up into this character that he can single-handedly zone the backline, especially if he gets the flank off, right? This is an opportunity for Philip, who had a good game 1 with providing a lot of threat to Onat and Spawn, that he could potentially solo carry this one with the champion that they have selected for themselves. The only thing that might stop that is if Rosethorn and NXI are able to dive even better and or get far enough ahead that Philip never gets to the late game fantasy.
And that late game fantasy is very potent for Philip because in the last 9 games that he's played Gwen, he's only lost 1 of those, and that includes LCS games on top of that. So a pretty big pick for Cincinnati Fear to try and play around as we start up the early jungle pathing of this game. Perry can start on the red side, doubling back Rosethorn on the same end.
Lunacia was kind of struggling in the regular laning phase in game 1, and Philip now hitting level 2 right off the bat. He will have a little bit more sustain than Lunacia does every time he does go in for that passive. He will have a little bit more damage and heals off of the damage that he can do to enemy champions. So just as we saw with a lot of play starting with Gragas, Philip can try and trade a lot of this damage back and forth every single time because Lunacia can't respond to it super heavily.
You already see that coming in. Philip getting the better of the wave push and really chipping away at that health bar of Lunacia. Meanwhile, over in the bot lane, Team Fish Taco are getting the hard shove in. Spawn and NXI working in this wave to crash into the tower. Rosethorn hopping over the wall will look for an invade.
I mean, he knows that NXI and Spawn are going to be in his back pocket to start marching forward, and Perry got caught a couple of times trying to go for more aggressive invades. Now he's the one being invaded, and Shochi takes a big chunk on his way over.
It's a big chunk. Stun gets returned. Fight breaking out. Rosethorn starts to fall pretty low. Cincinnati Fear on the ramp. That command attack and dissonance on the way out, but no one gonna go down. Rosethorn able to steal away the buff.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati Fear moving in force, going to be dropping a couple more minions in exchange for basically nothing. So good play coming through from Team Fish Taco to just get some chunks onto the relevant players, move in, take away the blue buff. And now, Cincinnati Fear, one of the things that seemed to get them a lot of their playmaking in spring was the fact that Trevor, one of the older members of the team, just like actual age, was giving a lot of direction to the team in the game. Whereas this time, JJ, we know that they can be a strong out-of-game leader, but I don't remember them being as strong of an in-game leader.
And I think this is where you try and sync it up with Perry a little bit more, because Perry can be vocal and provide you know, a lot of teamfight presence and teamfight shot calling for Cincinnati Fear. And I was saying it earlier, I didn't really like him that much on the Viego, but it's a different story when he's on a champion such as the Wukong.
Yeah, he can definitely start his own fights this time, which is oftentimes an issue with the Viego, where you can only really start fights if you have some of these big flanks. Now, Rosethorn comes around, does spot out, and is spotted by the Cincinnati Fear. The mid lane is now potentially looking for a roam down bottom. He's kind of sitting in that fog of war. This is what I've oftentimes heard called fake pressure, right? Shochi, just by sitting in fog of war, forces Spawn and NXI to back up a little bit because they don't know whether or not Shochi's going to be playing for the dive.
Someone's off the map, they can be anywhere. Expect the unexpected, expect the worst. This is wave crashing now coming over in the top side. Philip is still going to keep this pressure going, absolutely needs to. And we do want that pop-off performance coming out from his Gwen if Cincinnati Fear are going to find that success, and the right circumstances are available for that. Harry starting to square up into the mid lane. It does look like Fear are springing a trap onto Onat, able to get the stun from the flash coming up from Shochi, but flash is still there for Onat. Doesn't predict it. JJ not going to be able to land it. Onat will survive.
Ooh, rough play coming in there, right? JJ was coming in a little bit too fast. Perry was coming in a little bit too slow, and there was no Goldilocks opportunity for that gank at all. They end up blowing 3 flashes to try and take Onat down, and they only get his flash in return, so Fear committing a lot, and they're going to be giving up the Dragon for it as well.
The idea was there, too. JJ tried to predict where the flash was going to go, but Onat just did a little bit more to the side, and that is what kept him alive. And also, you have a situation where Team Fish Taco can grab the straight.
I mean, it's a good dragon too, right? You want to have that little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra burst in order to set Spawn up for these fights. And Rosethorn, interestingly enough, after picking up the dragon, thinks about going in for an invade, but doesn't have the backup of his bottom lane to go for it just quite yet. Instead, looks to be picking up a Crab and Perry on the opposite side of the map. I don't want to say he's falling behind, but he definitely seems to be behind the tempo, right? He is constantly responding to what it is that Rosethorn is doing. It puts him in positions where he can't easily make things happen on his own. And he spent a lot of that time trying to go for this mid lane gank, which didn't work. And it just allows Rosethorn to be that bit faster to every play for the next couple of minutes.
You see Perry's putting his attention over towards his top side, where he does actually have some priority thanks to Philip, who's doing pretty well in this lane so far. Does have a pretty good CS lead. Backs up, gets the blasting wand with the amplifying tome. Should be coming back quite healthy before he finishes up that final first item coming through. Perry on the return back to his jungle, still watching where the pathing for both of these junglers is going to end up. Got the gold coming up, and you can see Philip stand in first place.
Yeah, this is a really minor point, but we have seen a lot of time being spent by Lunacia waiting for the last bit of gold for these item pieces, and Philip now has freedom to kind of move around the map if they so choose, and that will play a part in the upcoming Rift Herald, right? We haven't seen either JJ or NXI move out of the lane towards the Rift Herald just quite yet, but this is the time when we need to start paying attention to it, and Rosethorn is already coming down towards the bot lane to try and punish JJ for being underleveled.
Remember, that's level 6 on the Vi. Cease and desist, point and click crowd control. Jay not landing the hook means that Cincinnati Fear won't go for any skirmishes right there, and Rosethorn spending his time over there, not going to find anything.
It is interesting to kind of compare and contrast like Rosethorn and Perry as well, just kind of their history, right? Because Rosethorn was a player that kind of like, I want to say kind of like Lens, right? Was, I don't want to say like disrespected, but kind of overshadowed by a lot of other players that were coming in, despite having some fantastic performances. I remember when CLG, yeah, was playing alongside Rosethorn, they seemed to have a lot of success, and then
the moment they switched to kill.
Exactly. Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say Kevy.
Kevy, sorry.
Yeah.
Why did I say kill? KE starts with the same end.
True. Different sound though. And already, Team Fish Taco will be picking up the Rift Herald for themselves, despite the fact that Philip could move first. Members of Cincinnati Fear are just a little bit too late to try and go for anything.
Philip hops in onto Rosethorn. Not being able to pop the Q, has to burn the flash to get away from the grasp of Philip, as the rest of Fear too threatening against Team Fish Taco.
Yeah, but I mean, hitting that flash, that's going to be plates going over to Lunacia on the far side of the map. Cincinnati Fear just behind the play just that little bit. It's costing them a lot more than just the objective, right? They can't go for the fight, but they're also losing tempo on the map, and Onat's not under threat here. Oh, now he is. Now he is.
He misses the shockwave, and here comes the rest of Cincinnati Fear to put him into the dirt. First blood to Perry.
Ooh, that was an unfortunate miss. A couple of unlucky misses from major abilities from Onat. Does this time mean that he will go down? That's going to be more than just the death going over. That should be at least a plate getting picked up as well. That solves a lot of the issues that Cincinnati Fear were having with their being behind the play. Is those mechanical misplays can mean even more than being slightly late.
I feel good getting that income into Perry, who has been falling behind quite significantly, at least in the jungle farming that Rosethorn's been able to do. So finally being able to get some dividends in, and we'll see what that first purchase is going to be for Perry once he's able to cash in some of that gold he's able to get. Time being, though,
what do you mean? What do you think
his
first item is?
It's Divine Sunder.
Okay, there you go. You're like, oh, we're gonna see. Ooh. I was like, come on. You're the
more if you can finish the item.
Okay. Understandable, as we do have 40 seconds left before the dragon actually spawns. We are coming up on the last couple of moments to potentially go for a reset to spend all that money. And it doesn't look like Perry will be able to do so. It means that they will actually be behind Rosethorn in terms of itemization.
JJ hooked onto NXI, but NXI wants to be in this fight because it's time to engage. Following through is Rosethorn. Cease and desist. Here comes Shochi. Throws down the Tibbers and makes Rosethorn pay. Onat doesn't want to take this fight anymore. Doesn't have any friends to fight with. Shochi will fight through as the shockwave finds its mark. Death sentence was big from JJ, but can he get another before Onat chips away? Perry denies it with the kill onto Onat.
And it doesn't matter that Rosethorn has better items when he doesn't have as many friends to play with. A great response coming out from Shochi to lock them down means that 3 kills have gotten picked up by Perry at this point, and they are in a perfect position to start turning around and looking at the dragon in just a moment. But as we take another look at this play, the big difference here is, you know, sometimes the fake pressure turns into real pressure, right? We do have Shochi a little bit faster to this fight, and as Perry kind of gets caught all by themselves, it's mostly about this big stun stranding Rosethorn in the middle of the enemy team, and then just trying to chase down Onat, who, oh, he turns around trying to get that little bit of extra damage. If you're gonna ego the skill shots, you gotta actually ego them.
Oh, that's an Onat move right there. Coming right in, Perry, getting the fancy view. Let's watch that flash to follow through. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Takes down Onat.
Thanks.
It's an ego play, but you got a limit test at the start of the season. Onat gonna, fortunately, have his limit broken.
Yeah. Well, it is going to be a tough spot now for Onat. That's been a couple of shockwaves that haven't worked out in their favor, but Cincinnati Fear are already here hitting the dragon and spawn. Maybe? No. Not close.
Good attempt, though.
Attempts. Still though, Cincinnati Fear are in a much better position in this game than last one. Remember, so much of their issues early on were based around the fact that Taco were just winning a bunch of skirmishes, right? Minui ended up getting caught a couple of times, so now their bottom lane is a little bit ahead, their mid lane is a little bit ahead, their jungle is a lot of bit ahead, and Philip is still a character that is going to be scaling into a massive problem. And honestly, I feel like Philip was one of my favorite players when I first saw him playing back in the day on Radiance, right? I saw his Renekton play kicking and screaming, dragging some of his teammates across the finish line. And now, all these years later, had a fantastic game 1, is in a perfectly poised position to potentially carry game 2.
Gotta see it from Philip. The next step in advancement coming out from Philip. The career that he's had. I do put my eyes over not just to Philip, but to Shochi as well. He's been pretty good on this Annie to land in those stuns the most. Minui under pressure, does have the lantern right there, but can't take it thanks to the chompers. Will be forced to walk the long way around, but the pressure is still in Fear's favor.
Harry once again looking to mid lane. Onat still has no flash. No stun.
Shochi's feeling it. Leandri is completed, and you don't got the mythic for Onat, so right now it's a big moment for Shochi.
Look at the transition down towards the bottom side of the map. NXI playing with fire a little bit is very low, and Shochi and Perry finding Rose Thorn.
Oh, Shochi slips up. Now just a pixel away from getting the stun onto Rose Thorn. Will be forced to bail out with the rest of the squad of Cincinnati Fear, but, you know, thought was there.
Yeah, Perry looking for Onat. We call missing Tibbers in my friend group the Clovis. Unfortunately, yeah. He was unfortunately known for it. And JJ, not landing it either. But lots of pressure as Cincinnati Fear are pushing Team Fish Taco out of the bottom side of the map. Yeah, we've seen Onat miss a couple Tibbers. That's Shochi's first miss on the Tibbers. You don't want to be a Clovis in this regard.
I think I remember that guy. That was ESA back in the day. I casted with him, right?
Probably. Yeah, I think you did, actually.
Civillock.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. See?
Yeah.
Run back. Let's change that conversation before the viewers get bored of our old history and this becomes a podcast.
True.
Look
Black bean
at where
burgers.
Perry is going right now. Never mind. I thought he was going to focus in the bottom lane. It's Rose Thorn who's going to try and focus here.
Yeah, ultimately a little bit surprised that none of that resulted in any deaths on either side of the map, but now we are starting to see Philip. He's almost got his first item completed and is starting to take off in terms of his ability to impact things on the map. And was it Hoon who had the game where he was playing on the Gwen and he took 6 turrets all by himself? Yeah, it was Hoon because it was going up against Cloud9. He absolutely dunked on Fake God last split. Philip hasn't done the first part of the dunking, but like he is setting things up. He's getting the balls. He's put Lunasia on, you know, the dunk tank, but he actually needs to hit the ball at this point. The turret is still standing because there's been no influence from either side paid towards the top lane.
And Lunasia has been keeping up with farm rather well. What Philip's been doing. The thing is, this benefits Philip more than it actually does Lunasia. Cincinnati Fear gaining control of this top side as Perry will take away that blue buff. The rest of Team Fish Taco kind of funneling into the mid lane right now, not having much vision or much sight in their own jungle.
Yeah. Not an obvious thing to play around just quite yet as Cincinnati Fear. They have now swapped the lanes. It does put Cincinnati Fear in a position where they can do more damage to structures because they were faster. Remember we were talking about how far behind it felt Cincinnati Fear was to a lot of the plays. Finding a couple of those kills really reset a lot of that for Cincinnati Fear because now they're the ones who are still alive and can reset and be back on the map a little bit faster than their opponents.
Second tower of the game goes down. It's the first for Fear, and it goes straight to this Gwen that we've been hyping up so much as we get deeper and deeper into this game. We'll claim that Onat trying to deal with the situation over there, but you have to beware of Philip.
Now as we start looking towards the next major objective, it is going to be this dragon that's spawning here in 30 seconds. Cincinnati Fear have a way better team for retaking than they did in Game 1, but so does Team Fish Taco. Both these teams not nearly as concerned with being second to the fight as long as they can do it from the right angles. And so, Rose Thorn did a fantastic job flanking on the Wukong. Will they also be able to do it here on the Vi? How is NXI going to be going for these engages? It was okay in Game 1, right? We saw some decent moments, we saw some not as decent moments. Again, I don't feel like I've learned a whole lot about NXI as a support just quite yet, but this could be the moment to interrupt the set of the Cincinnati Fear have built.
You got a beautiful wombo combo just waiting for NXI to land onto. Shockwave, the Recon ultimate. The thing is, you need to get control of some of these neutral objective positions before you're actually able to enable that. It doesn't look like Team Fish Taco want to get any control over the Dragon. They want to get control over Philip and put him in his place. But the thing is, Philip, my word, that damage he just bursted onto Rose Thorn.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Philip can actually win this 1v2. He does so much damage, and Rosethorn does not have the damage left to do it, but it is going to be the top lane turret getting picked up by Team Fish Taco in exchange for the Dragon, and 2 turrets in the mid lane here for Cincinnati Fear, as they will be able to pick this one up at the same time. And I wonder how much time. I wonder if there will be time to do another Rift Herald from this position, because it feels as though Cincinnati Fear should be looking to take almost any fight they can, right? They should be feeling so strong across the board after those crucial kills that reset almost everything that was going on in the map.
I was going to say, one of the biggest things Team Fish Taco could do is gain control of a neutral objective before Cincinnati Fear can get there, because if you force them into those choke points, into those ramps, that is where Team Fish Taco can absolutely brutalize some of these team fights. The big problem is Cincinnati Fear are controlling the map, are controlling the games. They haven't lost a single member, and it's not going to end anytime soon.
This feels closer to the way that Cincinnati Fear were playing in spring, right? And because we are so early into the summer season, right, we got to keep looking back at that. That's some of the most recent tape we have. But one of the problems that they will be facing is the fact that even though Onat has had a couple of unfortunate mistakes thus far, can still be very aggressive with the positioning of the Shockwave around the upcoming fights. And that's why Cincinnati Fear are already, Shochi is looking for an opportunity, but he might be the prey. Got him.
There it comes. Easy pickings. Shochi uses the Hourglass, though, waiting for the Lantern to come out. Oh, tried to flash out, but Rosethorn has his number.
I like the idea, but just going in to try and take over that ward, not having enough vision, Team Fish Taco do punish, and they still have a lot of tools that didn't actually cost them very much. It was just NXI's ultimate. And with the Rift Herald spawning way too late, there's no opportunity to pick that up either. It's going to be the Baron here relatively shortly. As Cincinnati Fear, you know, that does upset some of their tempo that they were playing with, and we are very much kind of back to an even situation across the board, because Perry has to be the one to come up top lane and reset all of these waves. And I'm kind of curious, again, Eric, as we start looking towards the rest of this game, both Manui and Spawn had some blow-ups over the course of the spring split. What are you kind of expecting to see in this upcoming fight? Do you think it's going to be Onat having the big ultimates to reset for Spawn, or is Shochi going to be the one that actually is able to buy enough space for Manui to take over the fight?
I'm actually on Onat this one.
You're on Onat?
Yeah, just...
Hashtag?
O-Nation. The biggest thing to me is when Shochi tried to get away, he burnt his flash and still died. So you don't have the flash tibbers. You don't have that quick stun that can come out of nowhere. Onat still has his flash. So does NXI. And so does Rosethorn. So there's so many ways to deliver this ball into that team fight. I do like Team Fish Taco's odds. I do think they have a little bit of a tempo swing to work with, but that window will close with that flash timer.
And Cincinnati Fear are the ones moving around as a bit of a squad right now, trying to create some pressure on Team Fish Taco's blue buff, but not going to be overextending into that one. They know that there's a ton of vision over on this side of the map. Perry is the only one who goes over the wall.
So Cincinnati Fear.
Does he know?
Angling up towards the river. JJ's there. Onat starting to stalk in. Yet to use the Shockwave. Puts a dissonance onto JJ. Death Sentence goes out. Able to land it on an XI. Perry goes forward. Shochi waiting in the wings. No one going for the full-on fight.
Really going to be backing away. Shochi announces his presence by hitting the ward. Yeah, still a very slow spot in the game. Now, we talked about, was that earlier today? Yeah, it was earlier today with the Ocean Soul and how effective that was going to be at stopping a lot of the winding conditions coming through for Evil Genius's challengers. It is now a position where even if Cincinnati Fear get it, it's not necessarily the end of the world. They got to go for these burst fights.
A big burst onto Onat. He still has his flash available, but Perry's on the opposite end. There's nowhere to flash to. Already a pick on Onat. Turret goes down. Perry looking to continue the chase. And this camera continuing its movement over towards the top side as the fight continues. I'll just do it off the minimap. I don't care. We're going forward. Look at JJ. He's trying to find more, but Cincinnati Fear are coming up empty-handed.
All right, I'm wondering if that was a DC or a mouse dying. Well, we got to see they were preying on Onat and also playing on Onat, and now with 1 minute left before the next dragon, it is going to be a spot where Onat, hey, you were just saying that Shochi was the one who flashed away and still died. Well, so did Onat this time around. Shochi's flash very likely to be up before this upcoming fight, and that is going to be a fantastic spot. Even though Cincinnati Fear don't win the game with the Ocean Soul, it does create a lot of pressure on Spawn, where he is just going to be trying to keep people's HP bars where they are.
That was
Hello.
a great setup by Cincinnati Fear to grab that kill onto Onat. Still focusing onto this top side. It's going to be Philip. Just wants to take a little bit off the top and continue shoving this wave in. Putting pressure where he believes Team Fish Taco have to respond as Dragon is spawning in 20 seconds.
Yeah, and neither top laner has the teleport available, so it is just going to be the isolated 1v1. The hook lands.
JJ, what a godly death sentence. NXI is going to try and redeem it. The shockwave from Onat does so much work, but is it enough? Cincinnati Fear have your answer as they take the lives of Team Fish Taco.
Wow, what a fight coming through. Both sides of that one absolutely beasting it up, but it is JJ is the hero, and now it's Cincinnati Fear starting it up. But JJ, as he goes for this, watch how he uses the play, right? He waits for Rosar to start the Q before interrupting it, preventing the channel. The only reason why this is close is because of the massive shockwave coming through and spawn. Just as we were saying, was looking for opportunities to be more aggressive yesterday. This time he gets the reset, goes forward, gets bopped on his head like a little field mouse, and it does mean that Cincinnati Fear comes out on top.
So close that was to being in Team Fish Taco's pocket. That shockwave was oh so godly. It's just the fact that it was Cincinnati Fear who dictated that fight. JJ, amazing on this Thresh play, man, but it does wonders for Cincinnati Fear. And now you're seeing the pings come out. The Dragon is on the map. And look at this, it's Team Fish Taco who get the first foot.
Yeah. Team Fish Taco are here, but they're not going to be able to pick up the Dragon. They are not strong enough. You see that spawn on the far side of the map. That's something I haven't talked about either. Spawn and JJ. The classic duo, and now Philip.
Oh, no. It's about to get bad. As you're on the wrong side of the map. For three members of Team Fish Taco, Perry, Philip, Shochi, stalking their prey. Onat looking to clear the wave. Already a recall coming out. Philip going for the chase. NXI doesn't want to lead him to Rosethorn. Rosethorn's able to escape, but the same can't be said for poor Onat and NXI. Tibbers gets dropped, and so do two members of Team Fish Taco.
That's really big. Also, this is something that we can look at Spawn for. Spawn was pushing the top lane and recalled in that spot. A lot of other AD carriers would have gone and taken that top lane structure. So far, Team Fish Taco, they're losing opportunities on the top side. They're also losing turrets on the bottom and cannot even walk out to the Dragon. You're seeing that Cincinnati Fear like, yeah, we don't really care about that. We want to take away all of your structures while we still can. They're going to be getting this bottom lane turret. They're going to be pushing in the mid lane as well. How much can they get with the rest of their Baron?
Still 16 seconds left on the death timer for Onat. And it does look like they want to push for an inhibitor tower, leading in with not just Baron-empowered waves, but Tibbers as well. Going to be whacking away. Too far forward, Lunacia. Will he be able to get out? I'm sorry, it's not happening. Philip will take him down.
And as the base is open, the bottom lane inhibitor goes down. The mid lane inhibitor will be cracked as well. And Cincinnati Fear still have plenty of tempo left on the map to potentially look for the Dragon afterwards. Cincinnati Fear just blew open this game in a much more textbook way than what we were used to seeing from their game earlier today. Ha, got him. Got him. Let's go, Rosethorn.
You know what? We take those petty victories. Stops the recall, but it's all right. Cincinnati Fear, I think this game is pretty much theirs. Unless we have Cubby here to say done and dusted. It doesn't work when it's you, Josh. It doesn't work when it's you.
Oh, okay, I'll work on it. I'll find something.
You gotta find your own phrase.
Yeah. It's going to be a third Dragon getting picked up here for Cincinnati Fears. They are looking to get their first win of the series and also their first win of the season here up against Team Fish Taco, who are staring at 2 draws in a row based on their 1-1 against Supernova yesterday and a very likely 1-1 against Cincinnati Fear today. It's been interesting, right? I've been seeing a lot of moments coming out from Team Fish Taco where it seems like they're very confidence-based, which is surprising to say that they seem to be playing Game 2 with less confidence than they played Game 1 with, because they just won.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that is just because of the draft that we have that allows this Gwen to be in a pop-off scenario. Shochi stealing away the Annie. I do think like this, a lot of this was decided in the drafting phase. They've given so much to Cincinnati Fear. Perry's back on something that works much better towards his playstyle to be that engager. It's all coming together for Cincinnati Fear.
I do think it is worth, you know, Cincinnati Fear continuing to experiment with things like the Diego, right? You want to get Perry confident on a wider variety of champions, but right now you're trying to find some of these wins. 2 inhibitors are already down. The solo laners are pushing in the mid lane. There's maybe an opportunity for NXI to go for an engage here on the top side, but I don't know. I haven't been seeing the same kind of killer instinct coming out from NXI. It just feels as though they're spending so much time thinking about what their character is capable of doing. Now they go.
They're going for Minui, and XI will follow through. Onat looking for the shockwave. Minui's critically low. Able to take him down. A shutdown found by Rosethorn. But how's the rest of the team going to do? Shochi's throwing it down, and Phillips on the Nexus. Spawn, nowhere to go. Your base isn't safe. Oh, he will still take one with them. Tibbers follows through, but Spawn sees gold and then sees gray. As the Nexus is exposed, Cincinnati Fear, they're not phased by the tacos, man. The Grim Reapers are here to play.
Oh man, Philip taking his time, actually finishing off the Nexus, lets his buddy Shochi just die at the last part of that one. But still, a dominant victory coming through from Cincinnati Fear, and so much of this. Perry having a much better game in Game 2, and also JJ just having a fantastic game on the Thresh, showcasing some of what we were missing in spring based on the fact that we didn't see him there.
And in fact, that's a great segue right now, because I'm just hearing that we have an interview with Shochi. That's going to be on the other side of our break. Kangas, we'll catch you then.
Hello and welcome everybody to our post-series interview here. I have Shochi coming in mid laner for Fear. Congratulations, picking up your first victory of the split. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. It should have been the fourth victory, like the fourth game, but some things happen, but I'm glad we got at least one.
Yeah, I want to bring attention to that because you had actually tweeted this out earlier that yesterday that was going to be the beginning of your anime arc. So if you lose the first 3 games and then win the fourth one, what kind of anime character does that make you? Is this like following a story?
I mean, you learn the most through defeat, so right now I'm just powering up, I guess.
Okay.
You gotta get hooked, you know. Like if you're winning everything from the beginning, it's not that compelling of a story, I guess. So
yeah. The first 3 was like the beginning of Naruto, right? You know,
yeah,
then now you've gotten the scroll or whatever.
I've stolen the scroll, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I wanted to give you an opportunity to chat with us about your off season because obviously it was a pretty crazy one as far as off seasons go. So what was the journey like for you to go from spring split, top 4, and then getting a roster together and still competing this summer?
Well, I mean, like as you put it, a lot of NACLs, some protests, some walkouts. But after spring split ended, I was just doing a bunch of tryouts with my teammates as well, as everyone was. Nothing like super concrete was going through. There was maybe a little glimmer of an acad spot, and then a lot of teams decided they didn't want an academy team anymore. So yeah, we just decided to run back to Fear with some roster changes because Faisal got promoted. Played versus him yesterday.
How is that? Because I want to get back to how this roster was built, but you mentioned it. You played against Faisal.
Yeah.
At the better of you. What's going on there?
I mean, yeah, Faisal was like a really core part to our success on the previous iteration of Fear. And there's kind of the story about how Philip left Fly to join Fear, and now Faisal kind of took his spot, and that match was super important, and we kind of got 0-2'd. But I feel like it wasn't our best showing at all. We kind of lost to ourselves in some spots. But yeah, I feel like next time we meet them, it'll be a different outcome.
Still a banger game. But Philip, of course, joining. You also have a new support member. So how was this roster building in the offseason? How did it all come together? Because I know the previous iteration, you were all very public about the fact that you wanted to play together. You know, that this kind of core of 5 built the roster. So what was it like adding 2 new members?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how much I can say, but I was down to play I was down to play with Trevor. Like, we all wanted to play with each other for the most part, but some things didn't work out, some like behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, we just decided on JJ. We thought he was the best option out of like, I think support was pretty wanted in a lot of teams. Like that, everyone was trying to go like figure out where they went. And then Perry played with JJ previously whenever he subbed in for Dig. And he kind of brought JJ out of retirement, I guess. Like JJ was just he was chilling on vacation in Europe. And then Perry hit him up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll play pretty much." I mean, that's my understanding of it. Apparently, he had some stuff, but yeah. Yeah,
JJ had this whole like Twitter post. I remember reading through that about why he was stepping away. So I'd love to chat with him again at some other time. Prep him for that. You know, we're coming for you, JJ. We're gonna get our answers. But you know what? Now you got the first win on the board. So now You joined the illustrious group of everybody else who's gotten a win already, which means we can start talking some smack. You can't do it if you don't have a win, but now that you got a win, I want to stir up the pot a little bit here, because I know that part of what made Fear so fun to follow in the past was the fact that you would call people out. You didn't hold back. So I got to put you on the spot here, Shochi. Josh was actually asking this one for your thoughts. So I know you've already been thinking about it before going live. Who's a fraud in the league right now? Who are you going to call out?
I got 2, actually. I just thought of an extra one.
Oh, no.
Can I do both?
Absolutely. Let's start some drama.
Number 1 in the jungle, we got Music. I don't care that you played in Europe. You're a fraud. Number 2, we got Duo King. And Isles is going to take your job when his visa gets fixed. That's all I'm going to say. Duo King beats me for no reason in solo queue. I'm just gonna take this chance and throw it out there. Duo King's a fraud. He can only play Zyra and Blitzcrank and Senna, I guess. So you got those 3, but other than that, nothing else.
All right, I hope you're ready. We're gonna clip that for when you go against either of them in the future. Yeah, there you go. All right, Shoji, we like to have a little bit of fun here, and I mean that was obviously a lot of fun, but I want to put you on the spot with one more question.
Yeah.
Been asking everybody this. I want to get your opinion as well. See what lengths you're willing to go to as a player. I give you a briefcase, $1 million in cash right now, untaxed. It's a lot of money, right?
Untaxed. Wow. Okay.
Untaxed. But every day for the rest of your life, if you go to the grocery store, you have to wear the Cincinnati Fear Grim Reaper costume and do the Naruto run, like the entire time. Like the second you leave your house, you're Naruto running in that. Are you taking the $1 million?
Is that only to the grocery store? Like, that's the only place it applies?
Okay, oh, you know what? That's a good question. That might not be intense enough, because you could just, like, order all your food in. How about just any time that you walk somewhere, you have to be doing the Naruto run and wearing the Grim Reaper costume?
$1 million, though?
This means going on a date. This means going out to, like, the club. This means going to the grocery store.
Forever.
Forever.
Nah, I mean, forever's too much for that.
You're not taking it. Okay, I finally found somebody who's not willing to take the money. It's a lot of money. Are you sure?
Naruto running in a Grim Reaper costume whenever you step outside forever. That's too much. That's not worth it.
Okay, all right. You know what? Maybe I need to find a better middle ground where we can meet somewhere. Okay, but if it was just grocery store, you'd take it.
For sure. Like, I mean, I don't even go grocery shopping that much between you and me.
I should have known. I should have known.
I can make some pancakes, so that's about it.
Any final shout-outs you want to give to anybody who's watching at home?
I mean, shout out my girlfriend, shout out my family, my friends, shout out everyone on Fear. We're gonna make the magic happen again this split, and shout out the fans who believe in us.
Shout out to the fans. Thanks so much, Joshi. Shout out to you and the team for competing, and best of luck going into your next match.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll bring back on the casters to close out the rest of the day. Josh, I finally found somebody who's not taking that $1 million.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I don't know. I would consider it for sure. It depends on what it means by walking, right? Like, if I drive somewhere, like, do I still have to do it? Because if I just drive somewhere, like Uber somewhere, and I don't have to wear the costume, yeah, it just means I'm going to get much less exercise.
That's not what we should be bringing up for this. We should be bringing up that smack talk that was just happening, man.
True.
Man. Calling out Duo King and Music. He didn't have just one, but two. Shochi, you're becoming my favorite very quickly, man.
Stir the pot. Stir the pot here in Challengers League. But that is it for today. Both streams have wrapped, so let's take a look at the standings. That should be updated with everything that shook out. We can see who won, who lost on the Path to LCS stream. And would you look at that? No team is undefeated. And Maryville, the only team without a win yet. Ooh, that's rough for the collegiate representatives.
Hey, you know, they did say they were going to put more emphasis onto CLOL than actual NACL. That might just be a cope, but hopefully they're able to bring it back together and give us the Maryville that was promised.
Hey, they did make finals. Very impressive run. I know that they were still hoping for that championship title, but there are still players to be excited about on that roster. But I want to bring our attention to the clump at the top, Joshi. AoE, FlyQuest, TLC, and Wildcard.
Yeah, I definitely feel as though FlyQuest have had the most difficult strength of schedule to currently get here, because they've had to play up against Cincinnati Fear, which was a strong team in spring, and of course also up against Disguised, who has a lot of the winners from spring on that team as well. So FlyQuest currently 3-1. A lot of people have them towards the top of the standings. I'm not surprised that they're currently here.
And, you know, because Disguised Toast, the D comes before E or T alphabetically. Congratulations on being top half of the standings at the end of day 2 right there. But that's how everything shook out. for the first 2 days. We will have more action tomorrow still, so make sure everybody's tuning in. We do go into the Mondays as well. But that's it for the show. Thank you so much, Deserex and Joshi, for coming on. One last time, let's get those emotes up here. Everybody in chat, spam the emotes if you got them. Thank you so much to everybody who has subbed so far to the channels. You're unlocking these. We're going to have a lot of more fun stuff throughout the entire summer split for you, and you're supporting the players directly. We'll be back tomorrow with more Challengers League action.
Wait, hold on. No, don't go. Who are we raiding and why?
Oh, yes. We're going to go raid Bradley. Make sure to go support the player, as Team Liquid's putting on a whole stream as well. A lot of charity going towards Bradley, who has family troubles that he is raising money for. So make sure to go support him as well. Thank you, Josh, for shouting that out. And we'll be back with more Challengers action tomorrow.
Steve, quick, come on.